si ocurre, tú puedes, working on campus. I'm going to be going over the benefits of working on campus, how to look for the positions, as well as giving you guys some tips and tricks on what to look out for, and also doing a mini workshop for setting up a resume and cover letter template. And if you have a draft already, you can use that as I go through how to set up layouts and everything. So we will be recording, so we ask for your cameras to stay off and yourself muted. If you have questions, you are more than welcome to enter them in the chat, and I will try to keep up with them. If not, I will save them for the end and address them then. And then also for our live viewers, there will be a prize at the end for all of you once you finish your exit survey. I will be using that exit survey to randomly draw 2 students for a $50 gift card. And then if you are not able, or for anyone that isn't able to join us live, there is another opportunity for them as well as you guys. And I will go over those details at the end when this is all being recorded. So yeah, let's begin. We can start recording. Is it already recording? Recording?
Yes, we are recording.
Perfect. All right, so let's begin. I'm going to start off with the benefits of working on campus. This is something that I encourage for everyone that is studying to do if you are able to. This is a great place for you to build skills and experience, not only for these positions on campus, but also for further positions later down the line, whether it's another job outside of school or in your field of interest, a career. You're always going to benefit from having frontline customer service skills and administrative skills, and those are the 2 main ones that you build here. So I also encourage this for students that have never had never had a job before. I started off as a student with no previous work experience when I started college, and I have learned all of my skills here, along with gained all of my experience from here. So you don't have to have any previous experience to apply for these positions. Your supervisors and staff are very aware that if it's a student applying, you might not have that experience yet, but they're going to be the first set of hands to help you professionally develop all of them. So anyone is welcome to apply as long as you're willing and able to work. And then this is also a great place for you to possibly use as a backup. If there's ever a time in your education journey where you need to take a break, or you're burnt out, or you even realize that this might be an area that you might want to build your career in, having this experience and the skills over time will help you promote, and you can build a secure job here down the line if you want to. So I broke down the benefits into 3 different sections: accommodation, experience, and compensation. I'm going to start off with accommodations. So number 1, I want to highlight transportation. If you are a student that struggles with transportation, or you have people helping you get to and from school and you have to work around a lot of different schedules, or you're just a student that wants to cut your commute in half, working on campus is very beneficial because you only have to worry about getting yourself from point A to B versus A, B, C, back to A. So all you'll have to do is worry about getting from home to school, and then wherever you are on campus, it's just a matter of getting yourself from there to your department that you are working at. Then there's also schedule flexibility. So your supervisor is in charge of setting up your work schedule according to your class schedule, but it's not limited to your class schedule only. If you have any outside of school or academic obligations, or you are a part of clubs and organizations that host events and you need to be there, just communicating that with your supervisor or manager will go a long way, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to be able to flex your schedule for that. There's a lot of understanding between your supervisor and staff, including to the point that, say, maybe you need to go spend some time in the tutoring center, making that clear to them, saying, I'm not doing so great in a class, I want to go work on some assignments, or I have exams coming up, midterms, finals, can I please adjust my schedule to allow me to go utilize the tutoring center and spend some time studying and just working on assignments and making sure I do good in these classes. They will 9 times out of 10 be able to adjust for it. and allow you to do that. Sometimes you might even get lucky. This isn't the case all the time, but sometimes you might even get lucky to have a very great supervisor or manager that even allows you to use downtime in the office to work on assignments, as long as you're attending to students when they come in and completing your tasks in office when you are asked. You might get lucky, and again, they might allow you to use your downtime like that. But moving on to experience, like I mentioned before, you're going to be building skills, whether you are working on ones that you already have or you're building them from scratch. They're going to be able to help you with that. You're also going to be networking here. You never know who you're going to be working with, who they know, or who you're going to come across. I worked at the Career and Transfer Center at EMCC for a good chunk of time in my student worker position life. And there I was able to meet a lot of different people from organizations, outside organizations, and programs that come in and want to offer opportunities for students to go work for them or do field experience with them. And I was also networking through them. So you're not only going to network between your coworkers, your staff members, or other departments, but even possibly outside networks coming in. And then also you'll be building key relationships or relationships with key staff. So this is beneficial down the line if you, for some reason, maybe leave and then you want to come back. Having that relationship already established with them might benefit you because they can refer you to certain job positions that are coming up. Or they might even be able to be used as your reference if you decide to apply somewhere outside of school or within Maricopa. And then if there's positions opening up and you're a perfect fit, they might recommend for you to apply or give you a heads up, and then they won't necessarily help you with resumes or anything like that, but they will definitely refer you to them and tell you what to anticipate when it comes to what they're looking for qualification-wise. So they'll give you some time to kind of spruce up your resume and then also kind of hone in on some more skills if you need to for those positions. So then there's compensations. So across the board, all employees do get some nice benefits here. If you are a student worker, you don't get maybe necessarily medical benefits, but everyone does get employee discounts. I'm pretty sure it's 20% if I'm not mistaken. Alyssa, you can come and correct me if you want.
You do get discounts at the bookstore, and there are other perks as well through the employee discount portal. So you gain a little bit higher access than you would as a student.
Yes, so keep that in mind, especially if you're looking to buy books on campus or you have to buy them on campus, or even if you're going to pop in to buy some snacks. I did that all the time. But then you also accrue sick time. I didn't know for the longest time that I had sick time. And then when I found out that I did, and there was maybe a week that I couldn't flex my schedule, or there was an emergency, or I was actually sick, I was able to utilize this sick time, and it would just give me some comfort if I couldn't work, because I did need to work. So there's that. And then there's levels to the positions on campus and throughout Maricopa. So as you work up, you will gain more benefits. Full-time staff get comprehensive benefit packages, tuition waivers, etc. So keep that in mind if you decide to want to continue to move up the ladder here. So getting jobs on campus, the number one thing that I want to highlight is your FAFSA application. I know that there are students that think that I don't qualify for a Pell Grant, or I know that I don't qualify, I just am going to get loans. But I always recommend for you to apply. Later down the line, hopefully when it's in your bachelor's, maybe graduate school as well, that's when you decide to take out loans, or you have to take out loans. But it's always good for you to be familiar with the FAFSA application. So starting now isn't a negative thing. You can decline the loans if you don't want to take them right now. But there's a really important question on that FAFSA application that you need to click yes on. Now, I understand that there's special circumstances and some students benefit from not filing. So I am not going to encourage those students as much as students that just tend to not want to file for just assuming that they're not going to receive anything. You might, but Again, that question on that FAFSA application is being eligible for federal work study. I noticed that on the pre-questionnaire, a few of you put that you did not know that you had to put yes. Lucky for you, you can go in and edit at any time. It's not going to affect whatever award you have already received. It is separate from your Pell Grant or any loans that you were given and offered. This will just, when you adjust it, affect your federal work study benefit. So go in there, check, make sure that you put yes, change it if you click no, and then it just saves and then adjusts for that. And then I'm also going to be going over how to search for the positions. We're going to go over your resume and cover letter. I always encourage for students to utilize their career services department because there they will be able to go over your resume and cover letter, edit it with you, and then also maybe even tailor it to the certain position that you are looking for. So always utilize it. They're a great second set of eyes to go over everything. I'm also available for all of you guys to do that with as well. And then also going to briefly cover how to apply for the jobs through the Maricopa portal. So I'm going to go over the type of student worker positions. There are a few different titles, but first the positions. Federal work study is number one for student workers. This is a type of financial aid and an excellent way for you to earn funds while you are studying and gaining work experience. Then there's the part-time temp employees. These are positions that are eligible or available for everybody, and you do not have to be federal work study eligible to apply. I'm not going to cover full-time employees too much, but these again are full-time hours, salary, comprehensive benefit packages. Federal work study, again, you need to apply or send in your FAFSA application and click that you want to be eligible for federal work study. Your college is going to arrange around your school schedule. And then I also want to highlight this. Although there is positions on campus, there's also programs that offer a growing number of off-campus and community service jobs. Internships as well can be used, or you can use your federal work study eligibility for internships. That way you are earning money while you are building your skills in your field of interest. This is something I wish I would have done when I was studying. Luckily, there was other opportunities for me to utilize, but this is one that I definitely wish I had gone into. So if you're interested, your career services department on campus will be able to help you with that. And then again, you do not need to have specific skills to get a work study job. You just want and need to be willing and able to work. So these are some non-federal work study positions and titles to look out for, especially this is for you guys that maybe don't file or can't file or aren't eligible. You want to look for a title along the lines of these three. There's part-time employee. These positions are available again for everybody to apply. You don't need to be federal work study eligible. And then some of these positions will identify that they are student worker positions. There's also the student worker employee that you want to look out for. This is again another student worker position minus the need to be federal work study eligible. And then temp employee. These are temporary positions that have a set start and end date with a time frame and the possibility for extension in the future, depending on fundings. So those are ones you want to look out for. So I want to go over how to look for these jobs through Maricopa. Each school does it a little bit differently. I'm also going to drop this in the chat if you guys want to follow along. There was a question. Oh, okay. Thank you. That was you, Melissa. Anyways, let me send this in, not into the waiting room, but into the actual meeting. If you want to click on the link and follow along, you could do so. But this is the website where you can look for careers and jobs on campus. It starts off with your mission or the mission of Maricopa, learn how to apply, and then the comprehensive benefit packages. Then if you scroll down, there's the different types of positions that you could apply for. We're going to look at part-time staff openings right here. So when you click on there, it takes you to this page. And as you can see, all of the positions are listed on here. There's 7 pages worth, so there's a lot of positions available. I want you guys to keep in mind that these are positions not just for student workers, but also faculty and faculty full-time as well sometimes. Yeah. So here, you can click your location, you can click the campus that you're interested in, and then you can click the job titles or the most recent posts. I want you guys all to know that each campus might do things a little bit differently. So if you, for instance, are an Estrella student wanting to look for positions and you click Estrella, it shows you on here that they don't have any postings, but that isn't necessarily true. If you come over to the search bar and you type in Federal Work Study or FWS, you can click onto that page and then you can click your campus. This gives you a nice little rundown of what Federal Work Study is and some more details, but you can click on your campus and then you can click on C, for instance here, EMCC Federal Work Study Jobs, and it takes you to their webpage and how they post their positions. It's going to take a little while to load over here, but here we go. They have this lovely and organized page for all the students to navigate through. You want to look at the student workers tab on here. You can see that there's quite a few different positions available. It gives you the application due date, as well as the ability to open up and see the details and how to apply through the website. This might be the case for your campus, so don't be alarmed if you don't see anything listed, but this is the general way to look. So let's go to Glendale, for instance. And if we click on their recent posts, it'll list all of the most recent positions available at Glendale, and you can start going through them. So the ones that you might want to look for is maybe, let's go to this part-time position. And then you also want to maybe look for assistant positions. These are usually student worker friendly. You'll click on that. You do have to sign in through your Maricopa. I was signed in, so let me just go back and see if it signs me in. Where did it go? Let's go back to Glendale. Recent posts. Human Resources Office Assistant. Once you are signed into your student center, you will be able to see the details of the position, the hour or the salary or hourly wage, the eligibility for benefits if there are any. Usually part-time positions or student worker positions don't have any. The working schedule that you will be working with, the Maricopa summary, the job summary, minimum qualifications, and then how to apply. If you like this job and you want to keep it handy, you can click add to my job favorites, and then later you can navigate in your student center to favorited jobs. Or you can email this position to yourself as well. And then if you're interested, you would click apply now, and then it'll take you to all of the details on how to apply. But that's really how you do it here. Is there any questions on searching for job positions? If you don't ask now, I recommend for you to meet with me and we can go more into depth one-on-one, especially having to do with your campus. So yes. All right, let me go back to this and I'll wait. If there is a question, I will answer. So building a resume and cover letter. This is the workshop section of the platica today. So if you want to pull up a Microsoft Word document, I always prefer using Microsoft over Google. It's just what they usually use on the campuses, or at least at EMCC, to make drafts and everything. So that's the one that I've learned the best. If you have a draft, you could pull up your draft and we can go through the layouts together and you can adjust on there. But yeah, let's begin. So there's 2 different types of resumes that you can use. If you are a student with no previous work experience, you might want to go more towards the skill-based resume. If you are a student with previous work experience, you're going to want to use a traditional resume. In a traditional resume, you're going to want to highlight your summary of qualifications. This is the most important qualifications that you possess that are going to pertain to this position. I'll go over which ones are the best to put on there. You're also then going to want to highlight your education. You're going to list this in order from your most current to your last or the oldest. So for instance, if you're currently right now studying at EMCC for your associates in arts, and that's what you're doing right now, you're going to list that. EMCC, associates in arts. I'll go over how it's going to look like on the resume, and then you're going to put from the time that you started until current. If you're working on a certification program at the same time, you're going to want to add that under there as well. And then the last thing you're going to want to list is your high school or GED status, and then when you graduated. And then after that is going to be your employment history. And there it's going to go in order from the most current to the oldest. And then you're also going to want to include 3 to 4 bullet points of the summary of responsibility and duties that you did. So the skill-based resume is similar in your summary of qualifications, education, but instead of employment history, you're going to want to put your summary of skills. You'll pick maybe 3 to 4 skills. For instance, when I started, I did leadership, I did communication, and organization. And then under those, you're going to want to list how you possess those skills or in what ways you utilize those skills. So I'll get into that a little bit later. But then under it, you can list any experience if you have any volunteer or internship experience or special projects that you did outside of a job. So yeah, I also provided a resume packet from EMCC's Career and Transfer Center that is available and pretty universal for everyone to use. So just because it comes from EMCC, it isn't EMCC specific. So I definitely recommend for you guys to download that if you haven't already and even utilize that in today's workshop. But it highlights and goes into more details on the difference between the two and what to add into each. So your cover letter, I know a lot of people think, why do I need a cover letter? This is why. It's going to set you apart from other candidates. If you are one of the only candidates to submit a cover letter, or if you're the only one, that shows your employer that you are truly interested in this position. You went out of your way to summarize basically the best parts of your resume into your cover letter for them to be able to go through it and know, this is a position that I'm serious about. If no one else submits that, they're probably going to look more towards you as one of their top candidates. So this is specific to every single job position that you do. You're going to want to make a new one, but lucky for you, it's not a tedious or long process. It's pretty short and simple. Your first paragraph is your interest in the position, 1 to 2 sentences. Your middle second paragraph is going to be the longest, 5 to maybe 8 sentences, depending on what details you're going to highlight. And there it's going to be the summary of maybe your qualifications, your experience, your best skills, and why it makes you the best fit for that position. And then your third paragraph is another 1 to 2 sentence paragraph, just showing your gratitude for your consideration or their consideration of you for the position, and then you looking forward to speaking with them further in the future. So we'll go over this as well. So if you guys all want to pop up your drafts, if you're going to work on them, I'm going to go over how to do the template and layout. Yeah, we're going to start with layout. So this is for resumes, and then this is for cover letters. I do hope to post this whole PowerPoint up in my module, so then you guys can go based off of this later down the line if you want to do it on your own. But the recording will also be provided for you. And then I do have these tips also outlined on there. So let me escape. If you want to take a picture of that, you can. And let's pull up a blank document. I'm going to bring this over here so I can see it. And then we're going to start here. So I have my blank Word document right here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're maximizing the amount of space that you have to work with. Usually 1 page is what you want to aim for your resume. Sometimes 2 is okay, but usually you want 1 because they're really just going to skim through it. So utilizing as much space as possible is very important. So number 1, we're going to go and adjust your margins. That's layout. Click over here on margins. You all can see this, right? I hope so. If not, let me know. And then you're going to want to click on the 0.5 narrow. So now you're working with as much space in this doc as possible. The next thing you want to do is work or adjust your font. So Times New Roman is the best one to work with. It is one of the smaller fonts. And then your font size, you're going to want to start maybe with 12 and then work your way down if you have a lot of details that you're going to be putting into your resume. Maybe the lowest, I would recommend it being 10, but 12, maybe 14 being the most if you have a shorter resume. But let's start with 12. So in your outline, you want to have 0 indents, except for your bullet points. Those are the only indents that should be in there. Apart from that, everything should be lined up on your margin. And then your header is pretty much the only part that is going to be centered. So you're going to center it. You'll want to bold it. If you want to underline, you can also underline. And then for right now, let's do size 14 for our name. So I would put in Alejandra over 1. And then I would adjust, keep it bold, not underlined, go back to 12. And then I would start to fill in my phone number, my address, and my professional email address. If you're applying as a student worker, I would recommend using your student email address. So your MEID at Maricopa. I'm going to pop up a draft of one that I already have had. This is a sample. I'm going to zoom in for you all to see. This is what my header looks like. You don't have to have the line up there. That's just details that at the end that you can add in. The next thing you want to do is your summary of qualifications. So this is what I meant by everything is lined up to the side except for your bullet points that are indented. In your summary of qualifications, you want it to be maybe 4 to 6. And in there, if you have knowledge in Microsoft Word, you want to highlight that in there. Every student should put this in there along with, let me fix this, along with knowledge with Google Apps, because you guys all utilize and have Google and possibly utilize it for class, whether it's docs, sheets, your calendar, and maybe forms, any of the other applications that are on there. Highlighting that you are familiar with it as well is very important. You want to highlight your strong communication skills, written, verbal, and interpersonal. You want to highlight if you are bilingual and you are fluent in, I put Spanish and in English. If you're fluent both verbally and written, you want to also highlight that in there. And then highlight if you have any organizational skills, time management skills, proven leadership abilities. Those are the ones that I kind of go to most when it comes to my qualifications, because that's what I'm the strongest in. So yes, I also want to show you guys the next slide so you can see what I'm going off of really quick. So that was our header and then our summary of qualifications. The next part is our education, followed by, I'm going more towards the traditional resume. And then I will show you on Canvas where you can get the packet to see the skills based resume one. But after is your work history and your or your summary of skills. So after is education, I did both Phoenix and Estrella for 2 different associate's degrees. So I highlighted those on there. So now that I'm done with Phoenix, I put Phoenix College, Phoenix, Arizona, pursuing associates in arts and applied, or associates of applied science. My major is interior design. I'm no longer pursuing it, so I can adjust it to saying just associates in arts, and then I could put my graduation date here now. So I graduated in 2020. This is what I want to highlight as well. both margins need to be utilized. Or you need to be as close to both of the margins as possible. So here, I'm gonna backspace until it's all the way up on one line, and then just space, space, space until I hit the very end. And that means I'm lined up all to the end. And as you can see, it's pretty uniform throughout, except for, again, my bullet points. Estrella Mountain is also on here. And then I would add in my high school. City and state, and then diploma, and then my graduation date, which would be, this is where I would use tab. Graduated May 2016. And then I'm already lined up. So on to our professional experience. Again, you're going to want to go from the most current to the oldest. On here, I have a couple of different ones that I have done. I put my front desk assistant / receptionist position. You're going to want to start with the title of your position. Right under it, you're going to want to put the department that you worked for, or where you worked for, the company, organization, and then where it was located. So city and state, when you started, when you ended, if you're still currently working there, you could put to present, and then 5 to, again, maybe 6 bullet points. You want to try to keep them one-liners, but if you're going to use less, you could do like maybe 2-liner details. And then I want to pull up the canvas so you guys can see where to get tips on how to state everything. You always want to start with an action verb. You want to make sure you're not repeating the same action verb at the beginning of every single bullet point. And then this packet will definitely help you. If you go to right now, the discussions, and you click on, oh, that's not how you view it. 1 second, sorry guys, this is administrative view. If you click on discussions right here, and then you click on working on campus and you enter that discussion, on there, you can download the resume packet that I provided for you all if you don't have it already. And then on here, like I said, there's so many tips and tricks on here, and a great way to like help you organize how you're going to set it all up, do's and don'ts. But let me show you the action verb section. So these are the action verbs that you want to go towards to describe your responsibilities. So if you did a lot of revision of information and then inputting that data into a spreadsheet, you want to say reviewed confidential student information and input that data into spreadsheets, etc. If you helped manage, like for instance, I manage the front desk, I would say manage front desk and front desk employees, and encourage completion of daily tasks. You can go into more detail if you want. But that's how you would start. Coordinate. I did a lot of coordinating for events at a certain point in one of my positions. So I could say coordinated or facilitated. Let's go with facilitated. Facilitated the coordination of on-campus events with staff members in my department and communicated with staff members in other departments. Action verbs are very important, so utilize those. And then it also gives you tips on how to do it for your traditional resume and also your skill-based resume. Skill-based resume, this is what it would look like. It gives you a good draft, and then the summary of skills. So for instance, this person had human resources skills. They hired, trained, and supervised staff for up to 50 employees and volunteers. Their marketing skills are highlighted on here as well. Supervised and budgeted events and programs for catering department. Organization as well. If it's a simpler skill, you could put executed administrative functions of budget preparation, committee development, and fundraising. So, and then under is their experience actually. So let's go into that really quick. If you are a volunteer or you participated in clubs and organizations, you can put that down here as well. The program director, that's what their position was in this particular experience. The company, city, state, and then start and end date. So that's on here. So for your cover letter, it's similar with the margins and everything. Let me pull up my slide actually. Back here. So on here, it's the same with the margins, same with the font. When it comes to your outline, no indents at all, including with your body. This is a professional template, so no margins or indentations, sorry. And then when you are listing your information, it's your first and last name, your address, then space, your employer, their address, space, your greeting, and then you'll begin your paragraph. And I'll show you a good example of what that looks like. This is an example of a student that we worked on. Again, first and last name, street address, city, state, zip, your phone number, and their student email address if you want to add that on there. Your school name, the street address, city, state, zip, your current date, and then dear hiring professional. No indents. This is the first paragraph. I'm writing to express interest in applying for the insert position. They were looking at a desk position assistant or a desk assistant position. And then I believe that my skills and experience that I have acquired make me an excellent candidate for this position. And then they highlight the best points of their cover letter or from their resume on their cover letter. So yeah, and then their outro is thank you. I look forward to communicating with you in person and thank you for your consideration. Best regards. So that is the cover letter. Yeah, we can cover this. So I guess that brings me to the end. Are there any questions right now? While that comes in, I just want to again highlight the importance of utilizing your career services department. They're there to help you. If for some reason your career services department isn't available to you or accessible at any given moment, utilize EMCCs. You can utilize any department at any different campus. Like I said, used to work for EMCC's career services department, and we were able to not only work with students from any campus, but we're also able to work with community members there as well. So if you are not a student, you could still go in and get assistance for your resume and cover letters. So utilize them. I want to speak about the entry or the exit survey, sorry. This is the QR code for it. If you want to start doing that now, Alyssa will drop that into the chat as well. But please complete that. That counts for your attendance. But now into the prizes. Like I mentioned earlier, 2 students from the entry survey or the exit survey. I don't know why I keep saying entry. They will be selected at the end once they're all submitted. And then for those of you that weren't able to make it to the live session, you are still able to enter for a prize. There is a deadline of September 27th, so I'm giving you all 2 weeks. This is including my live participants as well. For the first 2 students to submit their finished resume and cover letter to me, as well as proof that you applied to a position on campus, you will be able to earn a $50 gift card. I have 2 of those waiting to go out. So I'm giving you 2 weeks, and then I will let you all know when those 2 students have already submitted and they have been granted. But apart from that, that was my long workshop style platica. Thank you all for joining and bearing with me. I hope this gave you some good insight on how to apply and look for jobs on campus. Again, book an appointment with me if you want some more one-on-one details, especially campus specific ones. And yeah, any questions? Thank you all. I will exit out of this. and stop sharing my screen. Alyssa, any words?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording now. Give me just a moment and